So, a couple little ground rules. We did this last time when we had such an outstanding attendance. Okay, very good. Thank you all for coming. So, we follow our meeting via an agenda. Okay, and in that agenda there is this little section, not the little section, the big section, called Call the Public. Okay, and that's when you guys get to talk. The rest of the time we get to talk, unfortunately for y'all. Okay. So, please adhere to those rules. Last time we had this crowd, I gave the same little speech. Everybody did wonderful. Okay? No harassment, no this, no that. It was really a super meeting. Okay? So, hopefully, we enjoy that again, and we're ready to go. Okay?
Okay. I'll bring the meeting to order. Ground King Fire District. August 28th at 12:01. Roll call. David Dryder. Leonard Norman is here.
Scott Beck is here.
Okay, we'll go through the consent agenda. I know we just got the reconciliation for the financials. So basically, it's $10,000 in the red for the red.
This time of year is absolutely normal.
Yeah.
We have been far more in the red. So the first tax disbursements don't actually come out until October. So just so you guys know, as a group, we just completed a grant for some thinning and cutting work up here. We had to pay the contractors that did the grant. We're still awaiting payment from the state for the grant. So there's $35,000 of that. Then we have about $60,000 roughly that's out for billing for wildland fires that Crown King's been on. So we got about 60 grand coming back there when we get paid, hopefully before next meeting. And then we have about $15,000 that's floating from last year that we have in for reimbursement on grants for the state. Whenever we're in the queue, whenever they pay us and when they pay us. So when that comes, we'll have those checks. So there's roughly $100,000 kind of we're waiting for payment on. So when you look at that, the minus 10 ain't bad. We took a $10,000 line of credit advance from the county. And then in October, that'll all be paid back. Well, hopefully before that, if we get all the payments back, but by October, that will be paid back to the county. And we'll be back in the black again and hopefully stay that way till the end of the year, which is how we ended up last year. We ended last year in the black. We just don't get taxes. The last tax disbursement was in April. So we got to go from April till October with no money. So we just kind of chiseled away at our money as we got through the rest of the year. So we ended the year in the black, started the new year, which is very common for fire districts all over Arizona to take a line of credit advance from the county because there's no tax money. So the fact that it's only $10,000 is pretty great, and the fact that hopefully in a couple of weeks it'll be positive $90,000 is even better.
Sure. I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. Okay, motion carried. Reports and correspondence. Chief. I'll tell you what I'd like to do though. If we could if I could make an agenda move and put the representative from Stifle on.
Yeah, we're trying to get a hold of them right now to find out.
Okay, then go ahead and yeah, do your report.
Okay.
He's our bond guy. He's the man in charge. That's what we're waiting for his reconciliation.
So just as far as my report's pretty easy, pretty down and dirty. So there was 5 calls for service last month. All of them, with the exception of one, were medical in nature. 3 of which were driven down the hill and met up with the mayor ambulance down there, one of which was slumped. So we did fly one off the mountain. Had one, I believe it was a snake removal, so it wasn't even fire. It was public assist for snake removal. So we had that going on. This is, like I said, the beginning of the new fiscal year for everybody across the state, the fire districts. That's the J meter. Let's see, what else we have going on? So we have a truck. As you can tell, there's a truck off district right now. It's in California. Out there helping out with wildland fires in the northern part of the state near the Oregon border. They will be coming home on the 2nd. So they'll be heading back and be home. And then hopefully with any luck, we'll get a truck or two out again before the end of the season. Season started late this year, but I anticipate the season will go longer because of all the moisture and all the stuff. So we're already looking at, in Arizona right now, we're looking at small wildfires kicking up all over the place, that normally we wouldn't get right now. So the grass is nice and green, it's finally dried out, it's finally cured, and we're starting to get some fires. California, you guys saw there's a tropical storm, almost a hurricane went through there, and they still have several large fires that are still burning, even with torrential rains that dumped on top of them. And that's where our truck is. We've got a truck from here, there's a truck from there out there, and there's a few of them out. We have a truck from Baghdad, a truck from Baghdad in Texas, but we got them out all over the place, helping out. So, they're out there, making money for the district. Let's see. Or you flip around. You guys have photos of that on the TV? Okay. What do you guys do? The IT work in the back. Yeah, so there's really nothing crazy going on right now, other than that. All the equipment's in good repair, nothing broke down, we don't have any major mechanical issues, and that's all a good thing. Ambulance there, you see, needs a little bit of work. There's nothing that's keeping it out of service. We have mechanics have all the parts and all this stuff, and as soon as they can make a full day out of working, wrenching on that truck for a day, it'll all be fixed. So they're running around doing that. Other than that, we got
Hey, Chief.
yes, sir.
Did we, any new people?
Right there. Oh, yeah. We got, where's Kurt? There's Kurt. Oh, there's that. So, Kurt Larson lost a firefighter last month, moved on, and Mr. Larson, lucky enough for him, had just finished EMT class and just finished the fire academy, and everything worked out really great. So, Mr. Larson took the position, and so, he's up here full time and able to help out the community. So, thank you, Kurt, for being here. Thank you, Scott, for reminding me, because I talk to him all the time, so he's not new anymore to me. I talk to him every other day. But, so he's on the department full time now, if you will, so we volunteered in service before, so now he's on, he's here. Let's see, fire school is next week. I don't believe anybody from Crown King is going to fire school this year. The state fire school is the first week of September. But I believe we sent a couple guys last year, I don't believe we're going this year. And then we have what's coming up internally down the hill. We have a engineers academy, which will be starting, which is the guys that operate the trucks and pumps and all that stuff. So it's obviously free to the guys up here. They can attend that academy and help them better take care of the trucks and all of that stuff. And then Williamson Valley Fire, we had made, when we got here a year ago, we told you guys to try our best to get you guys paramedics up here on the hill. And that's an expensive long-term endeavor, right? So if we send guys to school down in the valley, which is where we're probably sending them, it's about $10,000 just for tuition, plus we have to backfill the person that's not here at work, kind of a bunch of stuff. So it'll be about $25,000 in about a year and a half worth of time to get it through. And we had to have guys that had at least their EMT and all of those kind of prerequisites beforehand. So now we got 3 of the 4 guys here now have their EMT, now have the prerequisites so they can go to class. But what we decided to do at Williamson Valley is we are in the process right now of creating our own paramedic school through the Williamson Valley Fire District. And you have to become an accredited agency. There's a national accrediting agency that does that. There's a whole bunch of steps in the process. Myself, several of the other chiefs, and a lot of our instructors have all taught at either regional colleges or other places, been program directors, things like that. So we have the personnel in place to do this. We just have to go through the vetting process. So Williamson Valley Fire fronted the money for the agency's called COAIMS, fronted the money for the COAIMS accreditation process to happen. When we are successful with that, it'll take a few months. When we are successful, we'll be hosting our first paramedic class. With that, we have the flexibility to do it differently than the college, if you will. And we don't have to take breaks for spring break and summer and things like that. And we think we can probably get the first paramedic class done in about 8 months. And we'll make sure that there's at least 1, if not 2, Crown King people in that class since it's ours. And then we just don't have to accept tuition money, if you will. We just let them into the class. In the course of that 8 months, you would have 2 paramedics up here on the hill, right? And then in future years, we would run 1 class a year, and in future years, we could just drop our own people into the class and fill it up. And it'll be a regional training center for all of the fire departments, so Preston Fire, Central for ourselves. Anybody that would like to come to class, they can all come. And it's a nationally accredited, nationally certified, and allows them to take all the certification testing to do that. So all of the hospital stuff's in place, all of the ride-along. They have to do a little over 500 hours of classroom time. They have to do a little over 500 hours of vehicular ride-along time, actually working as a paramedic alongside other paramedics. And then they have to do about 300 hours in a hospital setting under a doctor. All those arrangements are in place, including getting college credit for doing the classes. So they get all of that knocked out, and they'll be able to sit for the national certifying exam to become a paramedic when they're all done. So just to let you know, we are pushing forward. So part of it helps out Proud King a great deal, but we did it for selfish reasons. It helps out the entire department. It helps out Mayor. It helps out Livingston Valley. It'll help out all the agencies in the valley. But you guys will reap the benefits of that because they get to go to class for free, and it'll be a lot faster than going through college itself. You have my college or down in Phoenix College downtown. So anyway, just so you guys know, that's one of the other things we're working on. We are deep in the process. So we're just, like I said, we're getting that done, and hopefully we'll have even better news next meeting, and we're looking to try and hopefully start the class in November, so that we can get the bulk of it done before the following wildland season, so these guys aren't hung up trying to do wildland fires and not be able to go to class. It's set up for them to go fall, winter, into spring, and be done. So anyway, that's all I've done.
So, Chief, is it part of our merge with all the 5 districts and so forth? That's a benefit now. If we were not part of that 5, we would probably have to.
You could go and just pay tuition.
Gotcha.
Right? So whatever that tuition cost is going to be right now, we're looking at about, we would be cheaper than going down the hill, but we're still looking at about $6,000 per head. Plus whatever you have to do for backfill, plus. So there's all of that on top of the money. So it's not just the cost of class, it's the cost of, the coverage of the people.
Okay. Jack, are you there? Thank you.
We have to turn.
Oh, yeah. Volume.
Going up there, can you turn that?
Peter bought a pickle at say something. Okay, how's that?
Can you hear us?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear us?
Muted. Can you unmute yourself? You're muted. Mr. Dahan? Jack, can you say something? Yeah, barely.
Technology great.
Well, Mr. Dahan has to unblock himself. He's got himself muted.
Yep.
No, you're good, thank you.
Okay, start over.
Okay. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about that technical difficulty there. My name is Jack Leeper. I'm a vice president for a firm called Steeple, who's a placement agent for the district's bond sales. I'm just going to go over a quick overview of the bond sale today. So this transaction is going to be very similar to the one the district sold last year, but with a couple differences. Due to the district's growth and its net limited assessed value since last sale, it can now issue up to $209,000 principal, which is within its legal debt capacity. After some discussions with the team, the district plans to pay this bond back over 2 years rather than 1, with the goal of lowering the bond tax rate by about half from last year. We'll also be structuring the debt service payment for fiscal year 25, so next levy, to achieve approximately the same bond tax rate that was just set for fiscal 24 of about $3.5 per 100. So again, we expect to place the bond with the county treasurer, who last year provided an interest rate of the relative U.S. Treasury rate plus 50 basis points so 0.5%. So at today's rates, that would equal approximately 5.94% for the 2024 principal payment and 5.53 for the 2025 principal payment. So if everything goes to plan, we expect the transaction to close late September and early October. I'm also here with Bill DeHaan, who serves as the district's bond counsel, working for Greenberg Troward. Bill, did you have anything to add?
No.
Looks like you got to unmute there, Bill. You see it up in the top right, that little microphone? All right, Bill might be stuck. So Bill had sent out all the board, the documents, the legal documents for board packets. So we'll need some of those. That's ultimately the resolution is what the board's approving today. And we'll need signatures, I believe, to the bill, not if I get this right, to the resolution, the paying agent, bond registrar and paying agent agreement, and the placement agent agreement today. Did I get that right, Bill? All good? And Bill just sent out a refined resolution, exactly the same as the one we submitted last week, except we tweaked the typo for the final maturity parameter. So it's going to be 2025 instead of 24, like I just discussed. So that's all we'll need from the district. Is there any questions we can answer?
Jack, can you can you tell the public that's here how this is going to benefit or how this is going to affect them and their taxes?
Yeah, so ultimately, the decision to pay the bond back over 2 years rather than one spreads out that debt service, spreads out the principal payments and interest. So instead of having, I believe it was a $6.5 tax rate for bonds, it's going to drop down to 3.4 for bonds. So they should see approximately a $3 reduction in their tax rate by structuring the transaction this way.
So that's the taxes that went up due to the bond is going to go down by a half of that. Not your entire tax bill. This isn't a gift from them. You're going to get one half back on what it went up. Understand?
Go from about 10 to about right around 7-ish. She got the full number, but
Thereabouts. Everybody got that?
Right, and I requested from the county treasurer that this year they separate the bond out on your tax bill, so you'll know exactly how much money that bond payment is, instead of being grouped together as the fire district tax. I think there was some confusion in that last year. And Jack, if you could remind Chip of that when you talk to him, and make sure, I already sent him an email, but I want to make sure that that's separated.
Yeah, I'm looking at the county's tax levy book that they recently adopted at their meeting on the 21st, so you can clearly see Crown King's operations, the operating tax rate versus the bond tax rate,
Okay.
which together equal about 6.87, down from, I think, over or very close to 10 from last year. So everyone will be able to see that.
Right. So a significant reduction. Anyone from the public have a question? Nope.
The reason we're doing this is so we can let Jack and then go.
Yeah.
So we're not paying the bond back, we're just extending it out further.
What do you mean we're not paying the bond back?
We're not
Yes.
paying-
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are paying the bond back.
Well, I mean, we're not giving back the money.
Over 2 years rather than 1 year.
Right. No, we're not.
Does the bond itself have a defined purpose, and is there a time limit as to when it needs to be enacted on? And is there a good, clear plan for the bond use yet?
There is, and there is a time limit, isn't there, Jack, for the bond? I thought it was 5 years.
5 to spend or 5 to pay back?
I have to purchase
Yeah.
or sell bonds.
Yeah.
There is no requirement to sell bonds within a certain amount of time. Once you do issue the bond, typically there's a 3-year requirement to spend money, but since you'll be issuing a taxable bond, because the county doesn't care whether they're tax exempt or taxable, there's even less requirements on when you issue, how long you have to spend the money. And I think Bill, now if I get this right, that there is no expiration date on the authorization that the district received to issue bonds, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the total amount of the bond itself was $1 million. And we've only levied 200 and something at this point. Correct,
To answer your other question, yes, it is actually earmarked for construction of the fire station, purchase of fire apparatus,
Equipment,
and
yeah.
equipment, that's it. Like, it's pretty still
Yeah,
indicated.
it's defined. Like, we can't use the bond money to pay salaries. That's,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Any other questions? Jack, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, William.
Thanks for the technical support.
I don't want to lose.
You are.
Oh, I lost Suzanne.
You were wondering. I was going to,
Yeah. Where's Suzanne?
In the taxes, is this for just 1 year? And we decide that it's going to be 5 years and we're going to pay it off. 6 years, 10 years, how's this going?
Right, so each year we authorize the issuance of the bond. And we do that at our board meeting, that's a budget meeting specified for that purpose. So with the approval of the grant that we received for the new fire stations at $900,000, we felt it only prudent not to take additional bond money at the full price, rather than to spread that payment out and reduce the community's tax base. Now, what we're kind of leveraging the bond money to use for things that upfront costs to build that building, and then we'll put that bond money back. And at next year's meeting, we'll determine whether or not we even need to go into that bond money, or if we'll do another probably 2 years.
So we could do 0 next time.
We could do 0.
So to answer your full question, so when the bond was sold last year, they sold around $200,000 of it. The way it was structured last year had to be paid off that year. That's why your taxes were as high as they were. So now that's all paid off. So now they're reissuing potentially another $200,000, but instead of 1 year of repayment, it'll be 2 years. So that's why the bond part of the repayment is now cut in half. Right? So if they don't do anything next year, you'll still have the second year of this payment next year. So it'll be the same tax rate next year as this year. And then if in future years, whatever, it hopefully doesn't happen. It runs over budget, or the fire truck blows up and you have to replace it. You would have the bonding capability in the future of about $600,000 or so-ish that would remain, that you could bond some more money, pay back over a couple of years to buy a restaurant or to do whatever needed to be done. But that money would be there, basically sitting there waiting if you needed it in the future. If you didn't, you don't have to touch it. But this part will be paid off over 2 years.
That
Okay. Markwood Chairman's report. I'm assuming everyone is here for the free lunch today. That was Dave's idea. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to dispel some rumors, so we don't have to go through that later. We are not disbanding the department and going all volunteer. That is not going to happen. We're very happy with the chief and the training that our guys have gotten, and we look forward to moving forward. But with that being said, our budget is very inclusive for our truck to go off the hill. Meaning, if our truck doesn't go off the hill and make money, then we risk the chance of not being able to get payroll. We're still the same Crown King Fire Department. We're still under the confines of We only have so much revenue. And even though we did merge with Mayor, and I kind of get a kick out of this one, when we first merged with Mayor, we heard complaints of, oh, Mayor's taking over. We're no longer Crown King. That was not true either. We are still Crown King, still Crown King Board, and we have authority and autonomy over our department. So with that being said, that's this board. Secondly, we've been in contact with the county, PNF, and Fish and Game, and they have offered to provide the community with 2 trash trailers, which would enable us to haul our own trash down. These are approximately.
That's what we've been doing forever.
Right.
All our own trash, not the community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of it. If anyone wants to see it or pass it around, that's fine. They're around $27,000 fees. Free. And they're free. So, in essence, it's free. They're free. They're willing to give them to us. And what started this was the bear situation, and it was kind of brought up on the phone call. We don't want any people in Crown King getting eaten with the bears after what happened in Preston. So this was a solution that was brought up. We agreed to take one for full-time residents that would be parked up at the Forest Service property. We have cameras up there, and we provide a lock the same as the lock is on the package at UPS FedEx.
How is this germane to fire?
Okay.
Excuse me? How is this
Wait.
germane to the fire department?
You got what you
And the other one would go to the Chamber of Commerce for the businesses to utilize. So,
And they contacted us because we're the only political entity in this town, okay? People have been talking about garbage cans for years, okay? Some like it, some don't like it, okay? And they called Dave because of the bear situation and said, we want to give you some garbage cans, okay? And so we said, okay, we'll take them. It's $52,000 worth of equipment, okay? And then we said, what the hell are we going to do with it? Okay, how are we going to utilize these guys? We said one of them should be used for the fire department, okay, for our trash.
For our trash.
We have to take trash. Shane, you guys got to take the trash down sometimes, don't you? So we generate trash in the fire department. And we said, oh, we could use that.
And the bear is in your dumpster, they're cutting
And then we said the other one, we can contact the Chamber of Commerce and say, here's a $26,000 gift for you. Do whatever you want to. You can roll it off the cliff if you want, or you can do something. Don't do that, but
Don't do that.
Don't do that, but yeah.